All right, I think we're live.
Hey, everybody, it's Bob Sank with Bob Sank Coaching, and what a great presentation we're going to have today. A fun time that we're going to have. And you're going to learn how one of my clients, Steve Kennelly, how's that? I got that one right, huh, Steve? Steve Kennelly was able to take a business that was basically non-existent, that's right, non-existent, to levels that you can only dream of. So if you'd like some more information, you can go to 2xyourbusiness.info and sign up with a free call with me. So again, that's 2xyourbusiness.info. And we also have today Sean Lynham. And Sean is basically a marketing genius. He does an amazing job. He always really challenges me and challenges my thinking. And he really gets the real estate business. And so thanks a lot. Sean's going to be our moderator today. So I appreciate you both, Steve and Sean, being on today's call. So go ahead, Sean. Why don't you take it away?
All right. All right, everybody. We're here to talk to Steve today and kind of go over his story of how he went from a new agent in the business with zero business to, where he is today and, what actually he's done in his business to get where he is and what steps he's taken. So really this case study video is just, Steve stepping through his story and sharing kind of, what has worked in growing his business. So first, Steve, I want to thank you for taking the time today to, jump on this call with us and share your story. So we want to thank you for that.
No problem. My pleasure. Happy to be here.
Good. And the format's pretty simple, Steve. We're just going to start out. If you could just start with 5 minutes, kind of share your story of how you got into this real estate business. And then from there, we can talk about how you, met Bob and what kind of caused you to, look to invest in some help so you could kind of get some shortcuts and get some results, faster than having to figure everything out. And then just step by step, what you've done, how long it's taken to implement, the results that you've seen, what you're working on now, and then what the future looks like. So really you're just kind of, stepping us through your journey. I guess Bob and I are here to guide you through the Hangout here about your case study. And so if you could just, get us started and take 5 minutes, just tell us your background and how you really even got into this business.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. My name's Steve Kennelly. I'm from Central California, and I currently live in Bakersfield, California, and that's truly where the fruit and the nuts are. Hollywood is kind of a perception out there with folks with all the California people, but anyways, yeah, I've been in education for about 24 years, teacher and a coach, and had a good friend of mine. He got his license, started selling homes. He's a teacher, and he kept telling me over a course of maybe 2 to 3 years, hey, get your license, man. Why don't you do this? You can do this, and you can do it on a part-time basis. There'll be a lot of benefits. And I kept my perception of an agent was kind of like, I don't think I want to do that. And over a series of events, I just decided, you know what, I'm going to go for it. So I got my license. And I spent my first 2 months, which was summer has just began for us as teachers, and last summer at about this time, literally at about this time, I passed my test, and then I was interviewing brokers, and I decided to go with a particular RE/MAX office, and there was some solid leadership there. So I got on board, and I spent about 2 months kind of, there's so many things that we can do out there. There's so many options for us and so many coaches and so many different contact management systems and so forth and so on. Technology, you could spend your money all kinds of places. So I basically came across a prominent coach out there. I guess I can mention his name's Craig Proctor, and I started looking into his program. And by looking into his program, I started to have a few concerns. I'll just leave it at that. And I found another coach who had worked with Craig. So I interviewed his clients, and I kind of did my due diligence. And then one person said, you know, there's a coach by the name of Bob Sink, and you might want to give him a call. You know, it's not a good fit for you. So I called Bob Sink, and you know, I guess you could say the rest is history. But what attracted me to Bob's coaching was, you know, I didn't feel like he was. I felt like I was going to be directly in contact with, so to speak, the man, so to speak, not just a name, and then he's going to dish me off to somebody else. I felt like, you know, having a sports background, I know the value of a coach. I've always had a coach, and I've always relied on those coaches because they have expertise that I don't have. So I'm thinking, why would it be any different in real estate? So you know, I'm new in real estate, but I've been an investor, you know, flipping houses and different things like that on a part-time basis. Probably 15 or 20 different flips or homes that I've rehabbed with rehab guys. Anyways, so I felt like and on board, I started. I think I did an open house for somebody, and I got a buyer. Buyer walked in the door, and I got my first transaction like that. I was doing the open house for another individual, and I kept driving by a for sale by owner near my office and near my home, and I'm like, you know, I feel pretty comfortable just knocking on somebody's door, man. Why don't I just go for it? I'll just wing it. But it was right about that time in my winging that I started talking to Bob, and we set up an initial meeting, and I really felt comfortable, and I saw the value, and you know, basically that one transaction that I closed on, my very first transaction, which was just a buyer, it paid for the year of Bob's coaching. So I saw that, hey, I could close one transaction, and it would pay for me to have this coach who's been there and done that, and guidance, you know, and bottom line, I just didn't have a hard head and think, hey, I got this. I can do this on my own. You know, I'm 49 years old. You know, I know my stuff. The truth is that I think we all need some accountability. So that's kind of how I met Bob, and how it.
Well, let's summarize here real quick. One, you don't look 49 at all.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm feeling really old now.
You got that good. You got that going for you. So you got your license in June of 2014, right?
That's right. That's right.
And you spent basically your whole career in, you know, coaching and education. So you were a teacher. You had a buddy who was like, hey, this real estate thing, you should at least check it out part-time.
Yep.
You kind of resisted it, but, you know, you got the summers off. You're like, hey, you know, I got the summer off. Might as well go get my real estate license. Is that kind of like the thought process?
Yeah, but I'm, you know, my personality's, I don't just wing it. I mean, I've owned some businesses. I bought a, you know, I thought this was a little bit crazy. I bought a franchise. I bought this little smoothie franchise, and I mean, I've done some network marketing. I bought a vending business. I mean, so I've got entrepreneurial blood inside of me.
There you go. That's what I was looking at. That's what I was looking for, because, you know, you just don't go from, you know, most people don't go from the school teacher, security, you know, type comfort to the way other side of, you know, real estate, where, you know, you got to wake up every day and everything's, you know, dependent on you. So you got your license in June 2014, so that was 1 year ago, and you worked somebody else's open house to hopefully somebody walked in the door and you know, would like didn't have an agent and, you know, needed somebody to work with.
Yeah.
And so that was your first transaction, and then you met Bob through basically a series of referrals, I guess. And then before Bob, you were just kind of going down the street, saw it for sale by owner, just said, hey, you know what, let me just knock on his door, see if you know, see if this guy will talk to me, basically. So, you know
what, I mean, excuse me, think about it. For sale by owner, they're advertising to the world that they want to sell, and what do we want? We want We want
What do we
sellers.
do? Yeah, we help people sell.
We want listings. So I'm like, okay, this is pretty clear. So why don't I just connect? You know, why don't I go in there and I know me. I'm not going to hustle. I mean, I want to deliver a value. I want to deliver an honest, integrous, approach. Treat them right. So I think people hear that. When you're talking to them, I think they're like, wow, this guy is trying to work me, or okay, this
Well, I think
guy's
that the element of success there is, one, most people, they don't. You can look at for sale by owners as somebody that puts a sign in their yard and notifies the entire world, like, hey, I'm selling my house. I want to sell my house, and come from a position of, well, that's what I do. I help people sell houses.
yeah,
Versus, so you're looking at it as, this is somebody who's raised their hand that could possibly need my help, versus the other side, which is, having like a fear of rejection, or, they don't want an agent, or they'll never list, or whatever stories, so you're not, so I guess sometimes when we're new, we don't know what we don't know, so you just went in with a positive mental attitude versus a negative mental attitude, said, I'm going to get into a relationship with this guy, and that's kind of how you approached it.
yeah,
And is that
absolutely.
how you've been approaching all the other, or have you approached other sale by owners in the last year?
Well, when Bob and I first started talking, and Bob, feel free to chime in. I mean, but when we first started talking, he said, okay, one thing I liked is he didn't say, okay, here's the track I'm going to put you on. Here's my system, and we're going to get you in it. He kind of said, okay, let me get a feel for you. And he used his expertise to say, okay, I think this might be a good place for you to start. I think this might be logical. I think this makes sense since you're not going to be full-time. Why don't we start learning this? And he gave me something to learn, and he literally gave it to me. I mean,
I think Sean and Steve, what I will chime in, and I love listening to you, Steve, and remembering back, and I was just reading the notes on Steve. I have notes, so I have a file on you, Steve. Anyway, it was I feel a real responsibility when I work with people, and I needed to make sure that the information I gave him that he could actually put into place. I mean, you're looking at somebody that's a full-time teacher. I can't give him all of our systems and so forth. It just overwhelm him. It wouldn't do any good, and he'd be out the door in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. So I wanted to make sure that I understood what he wanted to accomplish. He was talking about these for sale by owners. I said, hey, let's go for our for sale by owner program. I want you to become right, Steve, you can remember that. I said, I want you to become the very best at for sale by owners there is in the country. Remember that?
yeah,
And he was like, okay, let's do it. And so got him started on that program and the listing, the listing presentation and so forth. And Steve's just an action taker. I mean, it's easy to coach somebody that likes to be coached and that takes actions, and that's Steve. So he just took action right away, and you had some really fast success with it, didn't you, Steve?
Here's a picture for all you visual folks out there. This is a picture of what I show up with in my hand. I don't stand at the door like this, but I just basically have it in my hand, and I greet people. I give them my business card, and I say, hello, how are you? And when I go into a for sale by owner situation, what I like about this system that Bob gave me, first of all, it's a system, and all I have to do is step into it and work it. I don't have to develop it. And his approach, this philosophy in this is that I'm not here to get your listing. I would love to be your listing agent, but I'm never going to say that. I basically come in and I say, I guess it's the law of reciprocity, I guess it is, just going and giving, and I'm offering a service. I'm basically saying, I can put a sign out there for you, and I don't have to talk about the whole program, but it incorporates, a nice cover. There's a nice letter that's from me, made by Bob, but I fill in the contents. It's a multi-page letter explaining a really nice home selling guide, which Bob showed me how to do it, and I just implemented my different logos and my name, and I'm basically, he kind of like gave me the keys to the kingdom, so to speak. And it's like, here you go. This works, and all you have to do is make those few adjustments. This talks about a for sale by owner, how to separate the lookers from the buyers. You're basically saying, hey, this right here is going to show you how to get your house ready to sell more effectively. I'm not trying to get their listing. And so I show up with these materials, and it sets me, it doesn't make me look like I'm a 3, 6, 9-month new agent. It just allows me, I'm not basically faking it. I'm basically, I'll be honest with people and say how long I've been in the business, but I also say I want to be different within the business, and I want to, and these products allow.
Well, you have a business now. That's the difference, Steve. You have a business, and you have confidence because you have a business, because you have all those materials, and people love them, right? People are. I mean, what has your success been with it? How have people interacted with you? You're going in there, you're saying, hey, I want to help you sell your home. You don't say anything about I'm listing your home. I want to help you sell your home. Here's some great resource and everything else. Talk a little bit about the success you've had from that, and what's happened with that kind of approach, with the approach that I taught you and that you're following.
Well, basically, I got my first for sale by owner, and I started doing some open houses, which are going to become premier showings, which Bob encourages. But I did a traditional open house with the best I knew how. Showed up. I literally just kept cranking it. I have my listing, and I'm just doing open houses. Well, by doing those open houses, I was getting these leads. I'm thinking, this is amazing. I'm getting other buyers. I'm getting more business. Well, I was driving around one night, and I saw another for sale by owner sign. I said, okay, let me get that address. I literally have my family in a van, and I stopped the van, and my kid's like, Dad, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm writing the address down. So I was getting ready to go to that for sale by owner with Bob's system, but they walked into my open house. They walked into my open house, and they said, well, we're trying to sell our home, and we're really interested in this home. But so long story short, I said, you know what? Are you on such and such street? And they said, yeah. I said, I was going to come by. Let me come by after this open house. And I went by and shared my seller's guide. I went by and shared these materials. I just left it there. And they bought the house. I was able to double in that. And I did reduce my commission, which Bob kind of slapped my hand on.
Yeah, I would have too.
Well, you know, when I told them, I just said, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I said, I want to help you sell your home, but I want to get my sign in that front yard. Let me discount my. So I kind of did that whole spiel. Not good, but I got my first listing. Anyways, they bought the house, so I was able to double in that. And then I went and sold their home. I did an open house, and the buyer walked into the home. I double into their home. And, you know, I got 2 or 3 buyers from each of those. The first listing was a very, very wealthy family. They liked the showing, but they liked the house, but it was too, the street was too loud. So I started looking for homes with them, and they purchased $460,000 cash in a gated community. And you know, to get those several commissions right up front there, and to be able to put $30,000 or $40,000 in your pocket, it's just, I was kind of shaking my head, just going, okay, wait. Because when I coach as a teacher, if I go coach for 3 or 4 months, and I put all those hours in, and that school district gives me $3,600 for all those hours. Obviously, the focus is the kids and developing young people. But the reality is, you know, we all drive to work because we want to get paid in some capacity. And I'm like, man, I'm doing this on the side. And these systems that are in place, and that's just a couple stories. I could tell you more, but I think the biggest, the for sale by owner program is outstanding, and I love it. And but the listing presentation, this is gold, man. The listing presentation that Bob gave me, I haven't had one person, I haven't had a client say no to me yet. So when I do the listing presentations, I don't have 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years of experience, but I'm taking them through a system, and I'm not only verbally communicating what I'll do, but I'm visually, there's so many different learners out there, right? I'm visually showing them value and all the different things that I'm going to bring to them. And when the presentation's over, they almost sit there quiet, like, oh, and we were going to ask him to discount his commission. But he's doing all of this.
That's a
And
key. Can I ask you a question on that, Greg? How many times have you had to discount your commission? How many times have people asked you after you've done a presentation to discount your commission?
no, there's no discount. I mean, well,
Yeah.
they may challenge me, and they may, I think it's part of negotiating, but I feel like I feel like I have some substance there to stand up and say, it's not just this presentation. It's not just this. Matter of fact, I'm doing this camera right here on my laptop. I wish I could show you part of the, but I just opened my laptop, and I think they just see, okay. And then I also explained to them, listen, if I start discounting my commission, I kind of break down my expenses in terms of my paying my broker a percentage, my licensing fees, my wife's shopping, I have a mortgage just like you. And if you want me to discount this and do it for free, I mean, you're asking me to work for free, I just can't do. I mean, I can just stand up and say, there's value here. If you don't see the value, and also I think it's pretty cool, my posture has changed, because even though I haven't done crazy high, all these, 50 properties sold and all this stuff, after you've won a few deals and you've put some money in your bank account, I feel like there's this whole idea of desperation, like, man, I got to get this listing. What am I going to do? I've got to do something that's drastic. I can walk in and say, if I don't get this, it's almost like, maybe not a good comparison, but it's almost like dating. When you're desperate, the person's going to know it, But
Totally.
if you're like, you know what, listen, I'm really busy. I would like to go out with you, but it's got to be on these conditions. You're kind of.
So I'm on it. So what you're saying is I should start a dating service too.
Yeah, I probably wasn't the best example, but
No, that's a good one.
I think it's a perfect example, because what you're saying is when you have that confidence,
Yeah,
and that you have the ability that that you can get deals, you have confidence in yourself, you have confidence in your value, you understand that, hey, like these clients that you're meeting, they don't go to work for free every day, right?
Exactly.
So, they would be out of alignment to ask you to go work for free. And when you do have those things of value and you're able to demonstrate it and people can physically see what it is that you do, how you do it, why you're different, why you're better, it just completely changes the positioning for you, right?
Yeah.
Because now they don't look at you like they look at everybody else. And if they want you to work for free, you don't work for free, and that's completely okay, and there's no fear of loss, versus the dating where you're like, you have people chasing you rather than you chasing them, or if it's not a fit, that's okay, because there's plenty other people out there that need my help.
And I think just kind of being a new guy coming in, this is just my general observation. I see some agents who have to go the extra mile to show how successful they are. They've got to drive this series of a BMW or a Mercedes. They've got to dress this certain way, and I think dressing for professionalism is good, but especially in Bakersfield, California, sometimes folks come out of the oil fields, and if I show up looking, I want to be professional, but if I show up with this persona of like, listen, I'm a real estate agent, I make a lot of money, and it's going to be a privilege for you to work with me, I think I'm shooting myself in the foot right off the bat. So my point in saying that is it's always about connecting with the people, but Bob's materials give you these materials that I have from Bob give me a sense of like these
confidence,
systems,
right?
yeah, they've given me systems and confidence. But bottom line, for me, I think a lot of my success in this last year has been going and just focusing on the people, focusing on them. What do you need? How can I help you? I'm here to help you. I'm not here to make money off you. So that's kind of it helps.
The money's a byproduct of service.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that's kind of my approach.
So, Sean, why don't we talk a little bit about, or Steve, you can share with us too. You know, we started August of last year, 2014. We're not quite at a year working together. So everybody's clear. You're a full-time teacher. You're a part-time real estate agent.
Right.
You took a system for sale by owner system and a listing presentation, everything else, and took action on it. So plain and simple, what people want to know is what are the results? What kind of results are you having from taking that into place? Less than a year, right?
Starting from zero.
Starting from zero, which we always forget. Basically zero. He said he had one, you know, he got one buyer, so, but as close to zero as you can get. What are your sales look like, Steve? What did you sell? What was your gross? But you know, we always talk net. What happened in that 1 year working part time?
10 months.
Well, back here is a dream board. I'll kind of angle it down here, and I'll just kind of. I don't know if you guys can even see that.
No, we can't really see it, but.
Yeah. Anyways, I put some pins up here, and anyways, I'll just answer you right to the point. Here's the Remax feedback. So gross is about 109,000, and the net, there's like 2 deals closing this next week, is about $88,605. So, you know, and what I did is, I'm a.
Now wait a second. So everybody hears that you're part time, doing you don't have all the systems. You just are doing the for sale by owner. You're an action taker, and in 10 months, new to business and everything out, new to the real estate business, not new to business. You're an entrepreneur that happens to be a full-time teacher as well. You gross $109,000, and your net income is $88,605 just from real estate. That's not including your teaching salary, right?
And my wife's.
So $88,000 just from you, from real estate.
Well, and what's been a driving factor in that is that we've had some hardship. I lost a home, you know, and I don't need to go into all that stuff, but the business didn't make it. I had 10 employees, I had all these bills, and enough money wasn't coming in. I kind of lost everything. And if right now the home that I'm sitting in is rented, and we want to get into ownership again, we want to get back in the game. And, you know, as a teacher, I'm thankful for our career. I'm thankful for that career and what it's afforded. But if I try to save up for a new home on my teacher salary alone, you know, we kind of have that tendency to spend what we earn a lot of times. So if I could save $1,000 a month, let's just say that $1,000 a month, at the end of 1 year, okay, so if I've saved up $12,000, an unexpected expense came up, so I have $10,000. It wasn't looking real pretty in terms of the type of home that we want at our age, and we have 3 children, and you know, we want to provide the best for them. But you know, literally, that money, I didn't need to spend it. So that money's sitting in my bank account right now for a down payment on a home, and you know, I kind of have to. It's just amazing because, and I know I can't just say, oh, I'm all that. I'm this, you know, amazing realtor. You know what? I have associated myself with a good coach. I bring some skills. I bring a skill set to the table. You know, and I care about people, and I'm just going for it. And when I say go for it, there's cracks in my day, so to speak. There's time windows. And I do things that are going to be profitable. I can't just, oh, here's an hour, I'm going to go work on my website. It's like, what the heck, man? I got to make calls from the open house, or I have to follow up on those for sale by owners, or I'm going to search these homes, put them in a cart, and I'm going to send it to this buyer, and I'm going to say, when are you ready to go look for a home? Let's go. So I've got a 2-hour window. Let's go. I've got a Saturday, Sunday, so.
I just want the audience, like, you got to pick up on certain things. Like, people always wonder, like, oh, what's the difference between success and failure? Or why do some agents succeed, you know, versus other agents? And I think, like, I don't want the point to be missed that, one, you know, you have a purpose. Like, you have a bigger purpose of why you're doing this business, right? It's not about the money. You have some things that you want to be able to provide for your family, so you have a bigger purpose.
Yep.
Two, it sounds like being a teacher, you care, and that this business, we're in the relationship business. So when people come across you, they see authenticity, integrity, and three, you're an action taker, right? Like you just said it. It's like most people will like, oh, I got an hour, oh, I need to go get a business cards or a logo. You're like, no, I need to talk to people, right? Because your time frame of action and doing stuff is so small that you don't have any other options but to focus on the money-making task in this business, which is calling people, meeting people, and writing contracts. So there's a couple elements here that that is kind of like a recipe for success with the actions. You have a why, it's all about relationships, and you just know that you got to focus on the money-making activities, and the rest just, is what it is. So I just don't want that to be missed, people watching this Hangout.
Yeah. I think it's also important to mention the process of when I was going through one of my toughest times in terms of losing a business, losing a home, and just kind of, I didn't just sit around and just basically go watch more TV and grow my waistline. I basically said, what can I do right now? So I got involved with a leadership guru, and I got certified through his program. You probably know the author John Maxwell anyway. So I got into a lot of his books, and I'm not here to plug a book that I wrote, but I wrote a book on like basically with my sports background, and intertwine some of the principles that I live by. And I kind of thought maybe I could go into a speaking career or a motivational kind of a situation where I saw the value of helping people become better leaders, because when we're leading more effectively, we're influencing more. And I did want to mention this one thing. There's in his book, I think it's the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. You guys probably read it. There's one law in there that always sticks out in my mind. He calls it the law of the lid. So you could call it a ceiling, a lid. Basically, if you hit the lid, if you hit the ceiling, you really can't grow your business. You can't succeed beyond that lid. And if that lid, metaphorically, is basically your thinking, right? So I was working on my thinking. I was working on, developing this person that I could, and I'm certainly in a process of that now. But that's helped. I can say it's because when I passed the test to become a realtor, and then I start this business, I had worked on myself. I had done some push-ups, so to speak, to be able to absorb the success, to be able to go cash a $12,000 check and not feel guilty like I didn't deserve it, to go do good business and then receive a paycheck and feel like, okay, let's go do it again. I think, honestly, there's a lot of us who are so close to getting that check, and there's almost a nervousness like, is this really going to happen to me? Can I actually do this? Do I deserve this? Are you kidding me? So we deserve it. And I've kind of worked on, and I certainly haven't arrived, but I mean, I want to continue to work on, Steve, and Bob has Miracle Mondays, different things like that. I go to some of those. He has a webinar this Thursday. I'm going to be part of that. The strength that's been developed by association, by myself associating with Bob and his team and his expertise and his network, it's just enhanced what I can do versus I'll do this on my own and I'll go through this 3-year learning curve and I'm going to flounder. So yeah, it's
even Tiger Woods has coaches, right?
Yep.
So
yep, exactly.
all the best golfers. So real quick as we wrap up here, like what's the future look like? Where's your business going?
Well, this summer I want to learn and implement the instead of doing traditional open houses, I want to set myself apart from what the average agent is doing, and I want to do some premiere showings. And Bob's got a system for that. And we're talking about learning how to bring on a buyer's agent and starting to kind of leverage people and leverage technology. And so I'm talking to Bob about different contact management systems and different things for that leveraging. I when I look at the numbers when the year ends at, I think it's like August 1st will be the end of our first year together. I want to look at that and say, okay, how can I not just duplicate that next year? How can I ramp that up a little bit? And I can't duplicate me. Like I only have these two hands. So through Bob and through different systems, it's like, okay, I can use some technology. And if I can't handle those buyers, maybe I get a buyer's agent. Okay, and just kind of thinking about how can I just grow this business without wiping myself out and destroying my family and stuff like that, because I'm gonna go crazy,
Yeah.
So that's kind of a goal, just to and not just in this next year. I've just got to get it all in one year. More of a sequentially, how do we kind of just ramp it up little by little? And I'm just gonna try to maximize where I'm at and then grow each year. So
Cool. All right, Bob, you want to wrap us up here and tell
Yeah.
people if they'd like
Yeah.
to talk, how to get in touch with you?
Yeah. So, look, I mean, what Steve's done is amazing. I don't want to take anything away from what he's done because he took action. That's the great thing. I mean, Steve's just enjoyable to coach because he takes action and he goes out and gets the results, and he has that excitement and that confidence and everything else. And I talk to a lot of agents. They don't have that. They don't believe that it's possible to do what Steve did. And I use Steve a lot in talking with other potential coaching clients. So about his success. How many people really can say that they grossed over $100,000 their very first year in a business? That's pretty rare. And then their net was so high of $88,000, which is pretty incredible. So if you would like to schedule a call with me just to see if maybe there is a good fit, that was really what our first call was about with Steve. Is there really a good fit? You can go to 2xyourbusiness.info and sign up for a free call with me. Again, it's 2xyourbusiness.info. And I'll ask you some things about where your business is now, where you'd like to take it. I'll make some suggestions. I'll tell you what I have to offer, what our programs look like, and so forth. And if there's a fit, fantastic. I'd love to work with you, and definitely look forward to talking to everybody. So that's how it started with Steve. He was looking for coaching and everything else. Talked to one person, talked to another, on, and then he talked to somebody and said, "Look, go and call Bob." So it didn't hurt him just to call me and just have that first conversation. And I would say, I'm looking now at $88,605 of net income in 10 months. It's more than paid for hiring me and getting the systems and so forth that I provide, that I've developed. So that being said, again, it's 2xyourbusiness.info. Hey, Steve, thank you for everything. Thanks for taking the time out of your day and being on the call today. I really appreciate you. I don't see any reason why you should stop now. I think you could double, triple your business in the next 12 months, and without working more. That's the key. So we've got to put a few things that we've talked about in place. And to Sean, hey, Sean, thanks. You always take the time. You're such a level head. You really get it. And you're one of the few people I've ever talked to that really agrees with me that we're not paid enough. We need to get paid more money. And so what's a
You got to get paid what we're worth.
we're not getting paid what we're worth. That's absolutely right. So thank you both for taking the time and being on here today. Great story, Steve. Thanks, Sean. And I hope everybody else, remember, it's just taking action. If you learned anything today, take action.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care. Talk to you soon.